Hello, hello, hello. It is Miss Nina B. It is Thursday and it is LinkedIn Hotspot Live. Welcome to the show. So I'm excited because it is time to talk about some things like how do you get found faster on LinkedIn? I mean, we know it is an amazing platform for business to connect with other businesses or even to consumers, possible clients getting contracts. And so when you think about, I think it's at like 750 million or maybe 722, I think was the latest stat that I saw about the number of users on LinkedIn worldwide. That's a lot of people. So, how do you start to get traction on the platform to get found faster? And so, that's what we're going to talk about today. So, before I get started, let me introduce myself just in case you may not know who I am. I am Miss Nina B. Abdul Wakil, affectionately referred to as the LinkedIn Queen. I help entrepreneurs, coaches, speakers, and authors to get found on LinkedIn to increase their visibility, credibility, and ultimately their profitability. And this is the LinkedIn Hotspot Show. And so we are streaming live to Facebook, YouTube, and yes, LinkedIn. So if you are joining me, I would love for you to say hello in the comments and tell me where you are. Currently, physically, I am in Silver Spring, Maryland. So I'd love to know where you are and to let me know, where all of the people are in the world. I know we have people who watch us from England, from Australia, from the UK, which is also England, I guess, and then from Canada, from all over the United States. So let me know where you're calling from and coming from. And I see we have people in the chat. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So before I get started on my topic, I thought today I want to do something a little different and on the show. And so I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to show you something on LinkedIn. And it's going to be probably a new segment that I'll call, Did you know this about LinkedIn? Did you know you could find this on LinkedIn? So let me go on and share my screen. Hold on tight. Okay, so I am sharing my LinkedIn screen. And what you will see on this right-hand side is what I want to talk about today. It's called LinkedIn News. It used to be called like trending topics or something like that. But what is great about that segment in that section, when you log into LinkedIn, you'll get to see some of the latest conversations that are going on the platform, latest pieces of information. And so, how does that help you as an entrepreneur? Well, one, if you find something that's right in your niche, it gives you a great opportunity to give a post about it. And your post, if you can respond to the post that's there, it's great. You'll get in front of new people. Even if it's not a topic that's in your niche, maybe it's a topic that you feel passionate about or you're curious about. It's a great way for you to give another post on LinkedIn that's just to allow people to get to know a little bit about you. So, for instance, when I see things like CEO calls to drop degree requirement, what is that all about? I would click on that. It would take me to the article and I would read about what it's saying, and it'll give me an opportunity to share it and then also add my commentary. The whole concept about having degrees and multiple degrees and stuff in this environment, there's a lot of conversations about what is really needed to be effective in a position, in a job, in a business. We've seen in the US a decrease in the number of skilled laborers and things such as mechanics and plumbers and electricians and stuff. And because in the high schools, there has been such a push to send the students, get them into college. And sometimes that's not their path. And so I have a lot of thoughts, obviously, about that. So when I see something like that on LinkedIn, it's an opportunity for me to share something with my network that lets them see a little bit more about me. And also, what does it do? It encourages the algorithm for me. So the algorithm becomes more familiar with me being engaged on other topics so that when I do post, it gives me a little bit more love. So I just want to share that as a tip. Did you know this about LinkedIn or how to use this on LinkedIn? Don't miss out on those LinkedIn news topics or trending topics. Let me go back to the main page, and you would find it simply when you log in on your main interface for LinkedIn, and it's right here on the upper right hand side. So that's what I wanted to share. Let me know in the chat if that was helpful to you. Okay. So let's see. What else do we have going on? We're going to be talking about how to get found faster on LinkedIn. So, if you want to be found faster on LinkedIn, what's one of the first things you could do? Well, oftentimes when you meet people and connect with people, you want to be able to share your LinkedIn URL so that you want to have something that's easy for you to remember and easy for them to remember so that it's kind of like your online business card. So you don't have to say, oh, yeah, it's Jane Doe underscore 1734. I think it's 5-7. No, you don't want to do that. LinkedIn gives you the opportunity to create what I call a vanity URL, something that's unique for you, but easy for you and your niche to remember and identify with you. Now, this is one of the tips I would say. If you are still in the corporate world and you have entrepreneurial endeavors for your personal profile, you want to be very careful that you keep it something that can be used in both spaces. So for instance, for me, I just kind of stick with my name, my first initial and my last name, so that people I remembered it very easily. And other people can too. If I start integrating different names and other words in there, it can get a little dicey for people. So not only are you branding yourself, but you want to think about what makes it easier for people to find you on LinkedIn and to find you and search for you. You're also helping the Google algorithms and the other search engines to also index you. So you want to add to your already existing index base by keeping your naming and stuff very similar across the different platforms. So the first thing, and one of the things you can do, is to get a vanity URL to help people find you easier. Okay. Next tip is customizing your website links. So we talked about your URL for LinkedIn, but what about your other, what I call digital assets? So are they closely aligned? So for me, my website is missninab.com. So guess what? When I tell people go find me on Facebook, it's Facebook and I'm at Miss Nina B. On Instagram, I'm at Miss Nina B. Now, I could have done the same with LinkedIn, but because I tend to straddle the fence with my corporate, I use my full name. However, on LinkedIn, I do have digital assets for Miss Nina B. You can find my hashtag on LinkedIn, Miss Nina B. So you want to make sure that you're linking the different platforms together, and you're leveraging your naming convention for your brand. Okay. If you have a website, you should always have a link on your website to your LinkedIn profile. And your LinkedIn profile should have a link back to your website. That's called backlinking. And that helps the Google, the search engines to kind of cross-validate those two entities, that they're connected to each other. If you're not familiar with where you would put your website link on your LinkedIn profile, it's actually in the contact information. And it actually gives you like 3 other slots where you could put some customized website links. Welcome to the show, Miss Brown. And I see Miss Carrie Murphy on. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining me. And if you have any questions, feel free to put it in the chat. So we're talking about how to get found faster on LinkedIn. So let's talk about keywords. Keywords are the life and breath of search engines. And at the end of the day, most of the social media platforms are actually different types of search engines. So if you're trying to find something, or you're trying to allow the system to determine what should be put in front of someone, they use keywords as part of that process, as a major part of that process. So for instance, when I go on Facebook, even though I have my own Facebook group around LinkedIn, they send me a lot of recommended groups around LinkedIn, because they see I use that keyword when I'm posting. I ask questions about it, all of that. So keywords are important. The same applies on LinkedIn. You have to have keywords in your profile, so there's someone searching for someone that is maybe a fitness trainer for baby boomers. If you have that in your profile, then it's likely that the LinkedIn algorithm is going to find you and present you as the search result for that person. So think about the keywords you use for, when you populate information on your profile, when you post articles on LinkedIn, when you just post any kind of post, and then when you put captions for videos. What keywords are you using? Are these the keywords that people would ask about? Okay. So keywords. If you use keywords, there are certain pieces in your profile that you can use keywords. So one of the big sections is your about section, your headline, and your experience section. So a lot of times in your headline, which is the text that's right below your name, people use the keywords and separate it with some kind of delimiter, maybe the pipe symbol or an asterisk, or people use emojis, all kinds of things as separators, but they try to get as many keywords in there. Now, I am a big advocate of sometimes less is more. So don't just throw all kinds of keywords in there where it doesn't make sense to the reader. That's not good, because you want to think about your reader when you're putting it in there. But use keywords so that the search engine can find you. Now, when you use keywords in the about section, the same applies. Now, a little trick that I teach my clients and that I use myself: if there are phrases or keywords that are very relevant to the industry that you're in, and instead of trying to figure out how to make 5,000 different sentences with those keywords, what I do is at the bottom of the about section, I will just label it relevant keywords and I will string them together with like a semicolon. And so then it's associated with my profile. But if anyone's actually reading it, then they know I'm intentionally putting together a string of keywords. I'm not trying to make it quote unquote make sense. It's designed so that you can see the relevant keywords. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I see Lisa. Hey, Sarah. And I see a question from Carrie. Okay. Carrie's question. Okay. If you have a job and a passion, do you need to link in two LinkedIn accounts? And if you're trying to do more with what you love to do outside of the job? Okay. So first of all, for based on LinkedIn's terms of use, you're supposed to only have one account. Under your account, you have one primary profile, but you can have business pages. And so for instance, if you want your job to be represented in your primary profile, you can then create a business page for your passion area. And you could actually either name it very similar to yourself or name it associated with your passion. Just be clear on what is your purpose. Is your passion also a business? If it's not, is LinkedIn the right platform for you to use just to showcase your passion? So a lot of questions I would have if I was coaching you, I want to make sure that sometimes LinkedIn may not be the right platform if it's just a passion. If you are trying to build it as a business, then you definitely want to have a page, at least a business page on LinkedIn, and you can build a following on a business page just as you can on a personal profile. Okay, so let's go on to the next tip about getting found faster on LinkedIn. So we talked about keywords and we were talking about the keywords in your about section. Now, maybe let me just take a moment to explain what the about section is. The about section is the section that's right below the initial elements of your profile. It's a big text area where you get to describe things about yourself. People use it in so many different ways. You can tell your story. You can say why you do what you do. You could have it set up where it's kind of labeled, which is what I coach my business clients, how you can kind of label and add particular information such as who I serve, what I offer, how to reach me, all of those kind of things. So they're a nice amount of white space and easy reading for the reader. So there's so much you could do with the about section, but you want to leverage that because one is one of the bigger searchable sections of your profile, and it's where people start to decide whether they want to learn more about you. So the next thing, the other area where you will find experience is in keywords is in your experience section. So obviously, I have a full-time job and I have my what I call my entrepreneurial endeavor where I coach people on LinkedIn, and I love doing that. And so you will find both of those things in my experience section. One of the things people miss when they're writing their experience section, sometimes they just carry over what's in their resume onto their experience section. And I don't encourage that. It is an approach, but that's not the approach that I recommend. I recommend that you put information that really shows either what you do, as far as if you're like providing a service or a consultant or something like that, and how you work with people and the kind of results that you provide. If you're a speaker, This is an area where you would label that you're a speaker, and you would say, these are the topics I speak on. And you may say, this is where you may have heard me speak. So you're giving some background of who you are, but also what you talk about. And so that anyone who's interested in hearing you speak has that information right there from your experience section. Some of the stuff that goes in the about section and the experience section are somewhat interchangeable if it's your current zone. But experience also shows history, right? So when I talk about being a trainer, if I just kind of showed up on the scene as a trainer, some people would believe it, but I have history. So if you look at my experience, you'll see back in over the years that I've done training. So then it becomes much more of a validation point for my credibility. And I have to make sure that I use keywords that carry forward. So it's very clear for people. This is that I know adult learning theory, that I'm a trainer, software trainer, professional development trainer. These are different keywords that people search for. So don't hesitate to leave questions in the comments. I'm pausing to check the chat just to make sure if there are any other comments. So let's go to the next tip on how to get found faster on LinkedIn. So believe it or not, people can go through all of this, set up their profile, set up cross backlinks from their website and other social media pages, all of that to send people to LinkedIn to look at their profile, and they don't have their privacy settings correct. Their privacy settings may be set such that it is hiding them from everyone that's not connected to them. Understand, if you're in the business market, you want people to be able to check you out, whether they're connected to you or not. A lot of people are not going to go through the extra step of connecting to you and then waiting for you to accept their connection request in order to check out your profile. So you want to check your privacy settings. The thing I would recommend is get a LinkedIn buddy. Somebody that you may not be connected to, or that you can, stop the connection and restart the connection, and have them check to make sure that your settings are correct. Now, if you work with me as a coach, I walk my clients through and we walk through and check all of their settings. I will say that LinkedIn is constantly playing shuffle the chairs with some of the setting categories, but all of them are still there. You just have to find where they are in the given release of LinkedIn. But you want to make sure not only that people can see your profile, but even some people, the way their settings, you may have experienced it where you might search and see them and you only see their first name and their last initial, or you may not see a photo. It's probably because their settings are blocking people seeing that. So if you're in business, you want to update that so that people can find you and look at your profile, particularly if you've spent the time and or have worked with someone to update your profile. You want people to be able to find it. Okay. Now, the last tip I have is a little interesting because I don't do a lot of things in this zone on LinkedIn. However, it's still a very valuable functionality on LinkedIn. People still find a lot of use and make a lot of connections through this functionality. They connect with partners, they connect with some of their potential clients, they share information, they get access to a lot of early information for things, and that is LinkedIn groups. Joining relevant LinkedIn groups is a great way to get found faster. So I happen to be a member of a speakers group in LinkedIn. And I happened to be checking the group, and someone had posted about needing speakers for a new conference. And so that's the kind of thing you want to be paying attention to. Are there sources that, I am missing, sources of information and opportunity that I'm missing because I'm not connecting to the right groups? So take the time to check out LinkedIn groups. There may not be a lot of chatter on some of the groups. It may be more like a bulletin board posting. But let me tell you, if you're trying to get in front of your target audience and someone is hosting a conference with that target audience in the place, you want to be on the stage for that. So take the time, connect to relevant groups so that you can be in front of your target audience. So we went through 7 different ways that you can are things you could be doing to help you get found faster on LinkedIn. So I'm going to roll back over them real quickly, and my trusty support person is going to make sure I click through them correctly. So the first is to make sure you have a customized URL. That's your vanity URL. So people can easily find your profile and you can refer them to it. The second one is to customize your website links. Make sure on LinkedIn you have the link to your personal or business website, and that your personal or business website is pointing to your LinkedIn profile. Those backlinks are very useful. Then we have the keywords thing. So we have the keywords in your headline. They need to be rich. Then we have the keywords in your about section. And then we have, and so Veronica, if you could go forward, number 4 is the about section. And number 5 was keywords in your experience section. All of those 3 sections are where you can have your keywords to highlight and connect you to your target audience and the industry that you serve. Then we have your privacy feature, making sure that you haven't done all that work on your profile and then it's hidden from everyone. So you want to check your privacy features. And last but not least is get involved in LinkedIn groups. Find at least one group that you can join and start tracking what it's posting. You can always just go to the groups and, set it aside a day of the week and see if you can post in the group and start engaging, because you never know where the opportunity will come. Okay. So I'm expecting everyone to leverage at least one of these tips to help you get found faster on LinkedIn. I hope this was helpful. If this was helpful to you, please drop a yes in the group, in the chat. I know that if you're watching this on the replay, let me know. You know how I am. Always put in team replay, # team replay. I love my replay team because sometimes, everybody is not available at a given point in time, but the information is always available when you need it to be available. So thank you so much. I see you, Kimberly. Nice to see you. I don't know why I feel like I just saw your name, Kimberly. Oh, I know. Kimberly, are you a part of the Black CEO family? That's where I think I saw your name. So thank you so much, everyone. This is our weekly show, so you know where I'll be next week. So before I say that, so if you happen to plan on hearing this topic last week, as we originally planned to do, I got my COVID vaccine. So last week, I got my second shot on Wednesday morning. And by Thursday, I was in the bed. And so I was no way going to be able to deliver and have LinkedIn Hotspot live. So I'm thankful for my team for jumping in and sharing one of our previous episodes with you. So what we were determined to bring this topic to you tonight. So if you are not a part of the LinkedIn Hotspot family, if you are watching this in places other than in the LinkedIn Hotspot group, then I invite you to join and become a part of our community. Simply go to joinmissninab.com as it's showing on the screen, and you will be directed right over to our our Facebook group and answer a couple of questions, and you'll be able to join. So I'll be coming live more and more in the group and sharing some words of wisdom, LinkedIn tips, and insights. And so you don't want to miss that. And I appreciate my LinkedIn Hotspot community. Thank you so much for all your support and all the work you do for yourself. So that's all I have. And okay, I see Kim, and it's yes. And she was a level up summit speaker. Very good, very good. Congratulations. So I appreciate everyone. Thank you for joining me tonight. And that's all I have for LinkedIn Hotspot Live. Have a great evening.